So now, why NLP? NLP is a very positive, it's a very positive approach where you don't think of anything as a failure. You only see, you go from a victim mode to a survivor mode. There's only feedback in it. There's awareness of resources. You're made to feel that you are constantly in the midst of so much of resources that we really didn't have any idea about. And there's also divisibility, where every task is divided up. So you conquer one little thing at a time. And there's a flexibility. So you grow, stabilize yourself, grow, stabilize yourself. It's a very ethical, content-free, and paced according to the subject. So NLP is something that is, I would really recommend everyone to experience. And this is an opportunity to rewire, to renew, and rejoice. Like as you take a rebirth, it would be all about being here and being in the now. And you also need to understand that you're the one who can love you the most and who can help you the most. Others can only do so much, but it gives the onus on to the person, to the subject themselves, to take the onus and work on themselves. So NLP is not about spoon feeding. This is something where the practitioner gives you a little bit of a push, a lead, and then it's what we work on ourselves. And I think this is the least invasive technique that you can follow. There's no drugs involved, nothing that can take away from your true nature and how you can help yourself. And now I would take the opportunity to introduce my mentor, Mrs. Indu Bhuvanesh. She is just an amazing person. I cannot really explain my experience with her. And her portfolio, I've got it here so everyone can read through it. She is the founder of Sparkle Mind Studio, and she is very much active, and she's a very giving soul, and a really loving personality. She has done n number of workshops. She's done so many training programs, helped n number of people, and I really can put all that she's done into this little bit of time that I have. So with no further ado, I would like to welcome Mrs. Indu Bhuvanesh. Ma'am, I will stop sharing my screen. And here. Ma'am, are you not able to talk? I mean, are you muted?
It was all along, and now I do have the permission. Yes. Thank you, Swarna ma'am, first of all, for the warm introduction and for being gracious to have me here to be able to connect with such a wonderful audience this morning here for me in India and later in the evening for you all there. And I'm delighted to be here, first of all, to be able to connect and be of service. And hearty congratulations to all of you to be able to come together in the presence of like-minded people to further your learnings, share, and be able to bond in such a fruitful manner. Also, my gratitude to Mrs. Lalita Vaira for creating a platform such as this to have people share and grow together. So we'll get right into the session. And I do see Uma ji as well. Hi, big hug to you. Lovely to be seeing you here. And the rest of you, I will get to know in a while. If it is possible, I know it is later in the evening. Do come on camera, even if it means 2-3 minutes of time to put things together. Do show up. It'll be lovely to energetically also connect with you while you have your videos on. Thank you, Ms. Shiva, for promptly agreeing to come on camera. That helps. Lovely. So, and before I begin, it's a delight to have one of your mentees share the space with you, to see them grow, shine. It is absolutely a delight to have had an opportunity to witness that while Ms. Varna was taking you through the presentation all along. So congratulations to you as well. And like Ms. Lalita ji had mentioned a while ago, you are a giver, and I truly acknowledge that starting. We'll dive into the process. Like, she has given you a flavor of what NLP is all about. I'll take a little bit of time to tell you what it is, and then I'll quickly get into offering an experiential learning, so that you all can take something back with you to practice, to be able to empower you in ways when you need a little bit of support technically. We have technique. Like Swami Vivekananda would say, all resource and power resides within us, right? And it took a couple of years for me to actually decode what he was saying. We do have all resources right within us. And NLP is one subject which helps you elicit those resources, right? The subject is about modeling excellence, and to have resources and to tap into those resources at the appropriate times and to benefit out of them. So what happens is, this is a science, like she was mentioning, about the neurological connections with the linguistic aspects, and how do you program and bring out resources that would guide us and help us navigate through difficult times. So neuro, to do with the brain, to do with the psyche, to do with the understanding and cognitive abilities. Linguistic, to do with language patterns. So how do we use our cognitive abilities and modify our linguistic patterns so that we bring about certain desired changes in our lives? So this is the science. This is the foundation of the science. So in practical usage, we work in the reverse psychology. Let's say, for example, a person breathes in a certain rhythm while they are calm. Okay. If you're happy, there is a certain momentum, right? In which you operate. So what they do in the science of yoga or pranayama, let's say for that matter, you simulate that experience, right? You regulate your breath work, therefore bring about a sense of calm. So the issues do not change. If someone's having a breakdown somewhere or a showdown or an argument, that has not changed. But how this person approaches that event or the person can be largely moderated when you change your sense of being from where you operate, right? Are you with me? So you bring in a sense of calm, and from that calmness, you derive clarity to take on whatever task you have at hand. So similarly, NLP is not about undoing certain activities that has happened in the past, or not about changing another person that you're dealing with. What it does is, how do you moderate your vocabulary? Like, for example, if a person is going through a lot of distress in life, you will notice the words that are coming out of their mouth is mostly about, I can't do this, I can't take this anymore, I'm done, you know, life sucks. Perhaps these are what you will hear from them. So that is a giveaway that they are dealing with something. There are deeper issues. So now what we do is, before making the changes in their actual scenario, in their environment, as therapists, as NLP practitioners, what you aim to do is begin the work by changing the language patterns, how they address issues or how they address people, or even make changes in their internal dialogues which they are having inside of them. So we make and modify those positive changes in the language patterns Therefore, it has a profound impact on the way the person thinks. What is life? It's a series of events, and those events are stemming from what thoughts we have, and those thoughts attract those events and people in life, right? So when we change our language pattern, we change our internal dialogues. The thoughts that we hold are shaped. And when you change those thoughts, your reality brings about a corresponding change. That's the shift we are looking at, right? So, without further delay, let's look at something practical. For example, if you have your journals and notebooks, look at your own lives. What are the issues that you're dealing with? Let's look at three main areas. Let's say health, let's say relationships, let's say career or money, right? So all of us have, a, to deal with many things when it comes to these realms, right? Or even your spiritual growth. But that is a higher dimensional topic. We'll leave it to rest for today. But let's take something that we deal with in our day-to-day lives. Um, uh, is there anyone who's sitting with some kind of a health concern? Please make note of it in your journals. What is it that you're dealing with? Is it a neck pain that you're experiencing time and again, or is it back pain? Is it knee pain? We will explore the mind body connection and how you can use NLP to relieve yourself or alleviate that pain. Will that be helpful? I can't see most of you because my video is spotlighted, but I'd love to see your responses. Even if you put out a thumbs up or something, I will know. Or
Do you
use the
want me
chat
to
box.
remove the spotlight, Mrs. Indu?
Not really, but I'll perhaps use a gallery view. Don't worry.
Okay.
Thank you for offering. Yeah, so I'll just move on so that I'd like to see you all as you respond. Brilliant. Yes. So look into which area it is, and let me put this out this way. So we believe in one school of thought that all diseases, all ailments are psychosomatic in nature. To do in that order, psyche, your mind, and your body, somatic, as in bodily experiences. So if you are holding a thought pattern constantly, it has a certain definitive impact on your body. Okay, let me elaborate that for you. If you're running thoughts like, my boss is a pain in the neck, let's say, and if that's the constant thought one is garnering, that he's such a pain in my neck, he's such a pain in my neck, such a pain in my neck, if that is what is constantly doing the rounds in a person's head, invariably the person develops some kind of a stiffness around the neck. There is pain that he may experience. And moving from orthopedician to orthopedic or any other physicians for that matter, it may not be detected in the MRIs and the PET and the scans, right? Because it is not a deformity, bone deformity, or not essentially a grievous disease that a person might be going through, which goes undetected in the modern technology that they have. But the discomfort is stemming from the thoughts that are being fossilized, and that is showing up in the person's body, let's say. So it takes subtler mechanisms to detect this, what's happening between the mind and the body, right? So how do we deal with it, right? So once you identify and explore some of the plausible causes for a certain disease, then you go back and not just make changes in the symptomatic effects, but you go down all the way to addressing the root cause of the issue. And when that knot is healed or released appropriately, you will find that the ailment is magically reducing and disappearing. What is disease for that matter? Dis-ease, right? When there is no ease in your movement, in your body, in your interactions with people, that is what shows up as a disease in the body. So when you bring in ease and joy in your health, in your interactions with people, your relationships move and improve drastically, your health improves right? So that is where people grow and shine, when they are able to address the root cause. So NLP is one such modality which helps us tap into what is causing and establish this contact, and then help a person relieve. Have I made myself clear? So just use the chat box to say if you've got what we are discussing, or a thumbs up. That helps. Thank you. Brilliant. So I did receive a couple of messages about what are the ailments that people are going through. There are particular affirmations that we could do to release all of this. I will speak about a few of them right now for you all to have an idea, right? And then we will look at an NLP process to also look at how we can bring about some positive shifts. Right. Now, I spoke about the neck, let's say about knees, right? If a person is, if any of you are having any knee issues, spare a moment to look at this, understand this connection. If there is something from your past that is traumatizing or of a concern, if you're held back by someone who was very hard on you when you were growing up, right? Who said, and you have decisions to make which need you to move out of an environment or make some changes or embrace something different, but your past is holding you back. Just imagine if there's some kind of a rubber band effect here. You want to move forward and someone is pulling you from the past, like say aged parents who have certain value systems and say this is what you need to do. You cannot take all of this. You cannot give up on these things or these people. Let's say one wants to walk out of a marriage that is abusive, but there is a societal pressure to stay inside of the marriage, right? So if there is this kind of a conflict, you want to move forward, but you are pulled back by certain um, restrictions or certain customary practices or whatever it is, then what happens is the person, just imagine at the knee, if someone is holding you by a teraband, let's say, and you want to move forward, imagine the kind of stress that gets created. So there is this kind of an invisible pulling that happens, and you want to move forward in another direction, causes the knee pain. When one wants to joyfully march towards something but is held by something else, there's a conflict. So what you affirm is, let's say, I move forward in joy. I move forward in life with a lot of joy and ease. So replacing that positive thought by even actually explicitly saying it verbally a couple of times has a lot of positive effect. That's the research that people have done over the years to show that it brings about a lot of shift in how the person can actually find a release in that part of the body. So that is the effect it has, right? So similarly, so on and so forth. Just about the back, let's say, in the vocabulary, look at the language pattern. If when you know somebody's covering you for something, what's the language that we use? He's got my back, right? She's got my back, or I've got this person's back. So or you say, do back me up when I need this, right? So that's the language pattern that we use, right? So now we are using the reverse psychology. When a person has support, he uses words like, I've backed you, or somebody's backing me, someone's got my back. So what is that expression basically? The back stands for support, your spine. And even other expressions, do you notice that if someone is acting cowardly in a situation, you would say, behaves like doesn't have a spine, right? That's the language pattern, right? So, and that, on the flip side, shows if a person is not feeling supported in life, okay, if they don't feel emotionally held, it shows up as back pain, the upper back pain, familial support, or even at workplace, if they don't feel adequately supported, it shows in the back. Similarly, if they are experiencing some kind of lack of financial support, it shows up as, let's say, mid back pain. Even particularly every part of the back, it has certain correspondences. If they're feeling guilty about something that they have not been able to provide someone, or not able to take on certain tasks or activities which is expected of them, it shows up as lower back pain. So a particular thought process, when held prolonged, has a very definite impact on a certain part of the body. So what we attempt to do while using NLP is to reverse the health condition or reduce the discomfort by changing the thought pattern. Are you with me? Because our thoughts create our life in all ways, right? In more ways than one can explain. So you are what your thoughts are, right? So if you are healthy, it is because of the positive thoughts that you hold. And if there is disease, that is also because of some of the negative thoughts that one can hold or a certain negative belief, right? And when we change the thought, we change the health condition. And how do you change a thought? By changing what you say to yourself or what you say to others. Like, I can't do this. It hurts. I don't have support. If that's what you're saying constantly, we make a change here and then we start seeing a corresponding change in our thoughts, and then the reality starts shifting. Now, this is for health. I will quickly move on to talk about how you can use NLP in your work or relationships, how to improve that. Shall we go in for a small practice right now to look at how we experience it bodily? And then we will move on to looking at how do we use it for health. So as you are seated here, let's do a very small practice to understand how it works, and then perhaps move on to a little more moderate practice. And then, of course, you can always reach out to us for elaborate practices on how to learn how to use it for yourself. Right now, given the time that we have, we will get a flavor of how to use it. So sit with your eyes closed. I'm going to introduce a few words and see how it feels in your body. Okay, so now don't be perplexed if I'm going to talk about a mix of words, some positive, some negative. I want you to experience the difference. Okay, so don't go down too much spiraling about it, but just moderately experience it. Okay, so that you will appreciate the difference. Now, as you are seated here, keep your eyes closed and just utter the words that I might be mentioning and see the effect it has on your body. I am feeling low. I'm feeling little low. I'm not feeling okay at this moment. I'm feeling dull. There's a lot of discomfort. I'm not feeling easy. And just see, as you run these set of thoughts, how does your body feel? What's the expression on your face? Just internally, if you were to have a camera on capturing what's happening on the outside, visualize how your face will look like when you're saying things like, I can't do this anymore. I'm not feeling good. I don't have any support. It feels awful. The weather's so depressing. Look at how your body is responding to these set of thoughts. Have you made note of where you're feeling, if at all you're feeling any sensations? Okay. And then gently open your eyes. Look at the faces, other faces, the cam on the Zoom room. If you can look, put out the gallery view. Just look at the expressions, look at people's faces. Did you notice anything in the body as you said these things to yourself? One or two of you, if you can, or even the organizers, if you can allow permission, to unmute and just share a word or two, how it felt. What was the sensation? Briefly. Or use the chat box also. The rest of you is more than welcome. How did it feel?
Like a sinking sensation in your
Sinking
stomach.
sand. The pit? Okay, okay. Yes, Umaji, please go ahead.
Yeah, I felt too tight. My nerves were
Tight.
getting tightened.
Tight.
And then
Where exactly? Which part of the
on,
body?
on my
On back. Okay.
back, on my, I can say my arm.
Arm also. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Indu,
Yes, Hemaji, please go ahead.
the moment I heard your very first line, I'm feeling low, I'm feeling
Mm.
very
Mm.
awful.
Mm.
I felt as if a blanket of energy being
Mm.
pulled down from my body,
Mm. Mm.
left my body. I
Mm.
stopped at that prompt. I stopped absorbing
Mm.
more of those negative thoughts. I was scared for a second, so I said, okay,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna
Yeah.
let negative waves
Yeah.
hit me, and my body
Exactly.
all of a sudden put out a almost like a defense shield.
Yeah. Yeah.
Watch cartoon shows. So
I
beyond
understand.
that, my system didn't allow me to take more of
Yes.
what is there. And
Thank you
that's
for sharing that. Yes.
that's important.
Thanks for bringing that up. That's exactly what I want to be sharing with all our friends here. Now, look at how many times, knowingly, unknowingly, any of you might be using these vocabulary. Being mindfully capturing what happens to your body might not have, we may not have the luxury of capturing this as we are navigating through life in our day-to-day, commitments. But do you hear any of your loved ones use these words? Or do you hear yourself telling these things? Even if not explicitly, do you run these set of words or thoughts in your head? Right? But you may not have had the opportunity to see what happens inside of you when you're saying these things, right? It was not easy. I understand when Ms. Hema was just mentioning it could be scary, it could be so stressful. You could, some of you might have even heard your body, parts of your body screeching and screaming and saying, no, I don't want this. I don't want to be doing this, right? I just want to get out of this space. Ask me to open my damn eyes. I don't want this anymore. You might have heard all of those dialogues, right? But do you understand how much you are subjecting your body to that kind of trauma and shocks, mildly or majorly, by unconsciously uttering these things? But many of you pull it off so easily, right? By just casually saying things like, it's so depressing, it's so hard on me, I can't take this, I'm feeling low, I'm feeling awful, I'm feeling terrible, this is so bad, right? So casually, and have no idea what it does to your body. And then we sit at a practitioner's clinic figuring out what went wrong with the body, like we have nothing to do with what we have done to ourselves, right? And that is what I wish to offer to all my friends today, that we are causing the disease. If that's the bad news, then now we will slowly move on to what's the good news. If I have caused it, I am the glorious creator, right? And I am that creator anyways. If I can cause disease by running a certain set of thoughts, I can cause the healing as well, right? So I have it in me to give an antidote to what I have brought upon, the misery that I have brought upon. So that's what we are going to focus on. So now
So now
let's do
let's
away
do
with,
away with.
I'm hearing
I'm
some
hearing.
feedback. Are you all hearing? Ah, okay, fine. Okay. Briefly, there was some kind of a feedback and echoing that was happening. Okay. So now what I want you to stay with is focusing on the health, what we can do for ourselves. Okay. So I'm sorry if I had taken you on a bit of a guilt trip. Okay. What have I brought upon myself? What am I sending out to my friends? But to appreciate, the sunny side of life, sometimes we need to look at, the gloominess that is existing. So that is what we had a preview to. Now we will quickly look into how we can change these experiences, right? So now close your eyes gently and be seated. We'll look at what we can do for ourselves, right? Now scan your body from head to toe. Quickly tell yourselves, I'm relaxing. My head is feeling entirely relaxed. My eye muscles are feeling so relaxed that I just want to stay. I want to engage in this a lot longer. My facial muscles are feeling entirely relaxed. I'm feeling that nice whiff of fresh air and breeze onto my face. I'm open to inviting miracles in my life. I'm open to experiencing all the blessings that life has to offer me this very moment. My neck muscles are entirely released and relaxed. I have all the freedom to share and express freely. I have all the capacity within me to ask for all that I want and receive from life. Not just a little, not just some, but receive all of the blessings that life has to offer me and more. I'm smiling. I'm smiling not just through the mouth. I can, even with my eyes closed, see that glint of shine or that sparkle around the corners of my eyes. I'm smiling with my body because my body is a temple that I live in, and I offer this space for the divine to reside in me. I'm smiling and shining through all parts of my body. Every cell in my body is radiating health. Every cell in my body is resonating to the divine guidance that I constantly believe is protecting, guarding, and holding the space for me to operate. Every moment, I am held safely by the hands of the cosmic energy. All that I do is divinely guided. Therefore, only good and good emerges from this moment and every moment that I lead life through. I recognize my body as a good friend. Therefore, every cell has divine intelligence, and I can see my livers, kidneys, my abdomen, everything performing at its best, very best. There may be momentary discomforts, but it is all coming together to make it happen for me. If I ask my right hand to move a little, even with your eyes closed, just do a little bit of a jiggling. Just move your shoulders a bit, even with your eyes closed. Lift up your left hand a little, show a thumbs up, bring it down. You're able to do all of that. There may be some pain, there may be some strain, but your body is listening to you. It is cooperating. Look at the sunny side of life. Despite all that I'm dealing with, I can walk, I can move about. My health is entirely my friend. I choose to be healthy. I choose to be free. I feel so relaxed. My back is relaxed. My back muscles are strengthened because I feel supported. The people in my life support me. My family loves and supports me. The community that I am experiencing, even right now, right here on the Zoom call, there are people who love me, who receive me, who accept me for who I am, what I am right now. I love and accept myself. And just chant the word love and see how it feels in your body. Just keep repeating a couple of times. Your legs, just tell yourself the embedded command. I feel free to move about in life. I walk forward in life with joy and ease, and just feel the sense of relaxation in your knees, calf muscles, ankles. Just keep rotating your legs, feet from your ankles. Just do a couple of ankle rotation, 2-3 times towards the right, 2-3 times towards the left. See how it feels. And now repeat a couple of words. Health. I'm healthy. I'm perfectly healthy. I'm healthy. Even if some resistance comes about, just tell yourself, I'm willing to be healthy. I'm willing to be healthy. I'm willing to be entirely healthy. Utter a few more words. I'm successful when I'm resetting my health. I'm successful. Success. Success. I'm feeling a lot of success. I can taste success in all my encounters with people, in all my endeavors. I feel a sense of love, infinite well of love in my heart center. I feel and connect and resonate with an infinite sense of love in my heart center. And I'm willing to share not just a little, but massive amounts of love with the people in my life. And send out loving and healing energies to everyone. Massive amounts, enormous amounts of love and healing energy to everyone, including yourself. And when you have done that to your heart's content, send out, visualize all the faces of your loved ones, send out loving energy to your parents, to your siblings, even if there's any, discord, send out love, because you have that infinite sense of love, right? Not just a little. You have enough to go beyond those petty fights, quarrels. 18 years I have not spoken to my sibling. 2.5 years I have not looked back with these colleagues. You are beyond all of that, right? From that expansive state, send out love and healing energies to your friends, family, your neighbors, your colleagues, your children, partner. Even if there are ex-partners, you are above all of those. So send out loving and healing energies to everyone. And send out loving and healing energies to all species, not just limiting to humans, plants, animals, living, non-living things, because you are one with that divine creator's creation, right? And that's what resides in every single thing. You are that, and all that is outside of you is also you, right? From that space, connect endlessly, infinitely, because you are all those magnificent beings, my dear friends. And when you truly connect with that expansive magnificence, notice how your body feels from head to toe, how it shines, radiates energy and love, and anchor that. So, in whatever way it is meaningful for you, anchor this space of feeling joy, ease. So, take your right hand and place it on the other shoulder and gently press, mildly press and anchor. Tell yourself, I am a magnificent being. I am a magnificent being. I am constantly guided by divine wisdom. I am one with the universe, and I am willing to anchor this moment. So keep revisiting this moment, energizing this whenever you want. Okay. So now when you integrate all of this, bring your hands together, express enormous amount of gratitude to the universe for having allowed us to experience this process today. Rub your palms, generate some warmth, place them on your eyelids, and whenever you're ready, take all the time that you need and gently open your eyes. Brilliant. Thank you for being such a lovely, receptive audience. Now feel free to unmute your microphones, and few of you share what did you experience inside of your body? How did you feel? You could use the hand raise button so they will know who to. Yes,
I
please go ahead.
felt calmness in me.
Okay, wonderful. Lovely to notice. And any particular parts of your body where you could feel a sense of ease? Anyone, if you wish to mention, if you noticed anything particularly, also please put it out. Or use the chat box also to share what is it that you experienced, right? Now, moving forward, did you experience a contrast to what it was earlier, right? So when you tell yourself what you want, that is exactly what you are able to bring about, right? So that is the programming that we are talking about, right? And we all have the resources, right? So anything that you want, you understand that it is the manifestation of what you feed, right? So if we moderate what we put in, the inputs, and we have a definitive process to look at, then we are largely in control of the outcome. Just to link the systems theory, you have your input, you have your processing, and you have your output, right? So now look at the reverse psychology. If you are having things which are not working in your life, if health is not working in some way, if relationships are not working in some way, that's the output that you have. All you have to do is not complain, fret, fume, or sulk about it, because that is the victim's mode, right? When we are sulking and complaining or blaming, all of those are unhelpful behaviors in life, right? If a relationship is not working, if we say, why me, poor me, why did this happen to me, of all the persons, then we are on the victim mode. And if we are complaining, I don't deserve this, you shouldn't be treating me like this, I don't have to take this crap from you. And if you are blaming somebody else for an unworkable relationship, then we go into the persecutor mode, right? In either way. And there's another thing like, okay, I will half-heartedly accept what to do. Life is like that only. We can't do much about it. I will pull through. So we are going in some kind of a compromising mode there, right? But in each of that, we are not living life to the fullest, joyfully or zestfully, right? So whether you're a blamer there, or a sulker there, or a victim there, or someone who's just half-heartedly learned to accept and tolerate, but not really help themselves, right? So even that is like passive victim being somewhere there, right? Not problem solving. So none of that helps. So what we do is, when you have an outcome, we go into that mode of, yes, this has happened. So now what, right? So then I understand that something in me has gone into the making of this situation. So how do I bail myself out? Not waiting for the external situation to change or the other person to change. What can I change to cause a positive impact? Because I have brought this upon me. So how do I move out? So there are various techniques. What we experience is one process, a flavor of what we can do just by saying different things. But there are definitive practices. Someone's microphone, I think, needs to be muted. Swarnaji, will you please check? Yes, beautiful, thanks. So how do we bring about that shift? So we will soon look into another process, this time about, let's say, what we can do about relationships. How can we help ourselves using NLP? Shall we get into that right
I
now?
think someone had asked a question about work-related stress in the
Okay.
chat group. Maybe if you could just address that, ma'am.
Definitely. Let me just look into that. Will you kindly read that out for me?
Please suggest how to overcome work stress or anxiety. Any particular anchoring method?
Okay, fine. Let's get to that itself. Is the group also aligned? Will that help everyone? Shall we get into that? Brilliant. Let's go for that. Okay, so let me tell you something. There's the traditional therapy method, let's say, where we go into the content of what is it that you're dealing with, right? Is there a boss that you have some differences of opinion from? Is there some harassment? Is there work pressure that comes from lack of productivity? We go into all of that. That's a more elaborate process that we take. Like, say, for example, I specialize in psychotherapy using transactional analysis or cognitive behavioral therapy. There we go down that route in getting all the missing information, and then bring about some kind of a shift. Now, NLP, what makes it all the more interesting is NLP is largely a science which can do us a lot of favor in bringing about shifts with simpler practices, shorter durations, and content free. In many of the technologies that we will be using with NLP, we don't go into the nitty-gritties of who is causing you trouble or what is the issue that is leaving you with this experience. We can walk a client through NLP process or help ourselves get out of the issue without spiraling down into every bit of the detail, right? So now why I would mention that is you will notice that I will not be asking Miss Pallavi, I think she's the one who raised that question, right? About what about your work is stressful, or is it some particular person that is giving you any distress there? So not there, but I'm taking that larger context itself of, okay, there's stress, lot of work pressure. So I am offering one particular uh, process that we can do, but it helps when there are more details. It will help you narrow down a particular technique that will be more relevant, right? But for now, in the larger interest of the group, we will look at some process which will be largely helpful, right? So now I'll invite, while I am addressing Ms. Pallavi's question, I would also like all of you to take more value out of this time. So think of one particular situation where you are feeling some bit of pressure to perform, right? Will that be helpful for everyone? So you can connect it to some issue in your life. So think of one area where you are finding it difficult to pull it off, right? Something that is challenging for you, some task on hand that you need to, let's say, submit an assignment or a project that you need to be on the top of your game, some area where you're struggling to meet expectations. Have all of you thought of an area? Just give me a thumbs up if you've identified one. Brilliant. Okay. So before we begin, let me talk to you about my latest session with one of my clients, therapy clients, okay, using NLP. Particular. There are other things that we do in the elaborate sense of work, but particularly this exercise, one of this, what we did with the client. He's a major from the Indian Army. So he's posted in Rajasthan currently. But then he met with an accident 4 years ago, a Jeep accident, which he was rolled off a cliff, and a lot of injury and knees and crushed, and several surgeries, jaw fractured, and all of that, right? So especially, particularly the leg. Largely, he has recovered, being on bed rest for 1.5 years. He had recovered from other things, but the knee has been a constraint. And you know the Jawans, how they do their runs and how fitness is very crucial for them, right, as soldiers. So when he came to me for therapy, he was profusely worried about one thing, that he could not do the parades or do the fitness regime like before, right? Mentally, he's performing the activities that are assigned to him are in alignment because of the accident, but he wants to go back to his old self. That was the need. So how I took him through a process of this, what I'm going to share with you all right now, is connect to, and his self-esteem was very low at that point when he came for therapy, that I can't do this anymore, I can't perform, I want to be functioning at my best and all of that. So there was a lot of stress because he was not able to perform like before. So now, and he has already sent me a feedback also about how he has got back to certain things and went a trip also and came back. So I anchored to when he was performing at a peak level and asked him for a memory where I asked him to see himself at his best. And the vivid memory that he brought out was when he was in charge. It's a huge honor, when somebody is given the in charge for heading a parade, especially the Republic Day parade. If some of you have relatability to how it happened, it's an elaborate process in India, right? The Republic Day parade. So for the battalion, he was in charge, right? So that's a huge honor there. So that was his beaming moment, where he was on the top of his fitness game and his regime and routine and all of that, where he could run. So he pulled off that whole parade. So that is the memory I had asked him to anchor, and then look at the resources that he had when he had to train for that. So he connected with certain things like grit and strength and discipline and physical levels of fitness that he had and all of that. So visualize that vividly and anchor it to that point, right? So if I could do it back then, I can do it now too. That's the space we want, right? So it's not alien to us. These qualities we have had in the past, we have exhibited it. So how do we tap reconnect with those resources, and then gift our current self those strengths. And with that, again, we'll have to follow it up with other practices and all of that, but brings about a enormous shift in how we function now. So this is what we will be looking at, right? So to give you a background, now let's go into our process. So each of you have written down something, right? Let's say for example, um, if you have some event coming up, Holi, let's say celebrations, and I have signed up for singing on the stage, and this is something I will be doing after 7 years, or after my college, I never did get to dance. This is the first time I will be dancing in front of a crowd. So I'm a little nervous, shaky, if something like that. Or particularly, Miss Pallavi was asking about work. So if I need to draft some letters right now, and I'm feeling a little stressed about the official language. Last time I was doing a training session for Metro Water government department staff. So they were having trouble with official communication. So there was a process that we did. So there may be certain expectations out of you, right, to do this, to perform this. And if there is some challenge, now look at what is the challenge each of you are facing. And I want you to name 3 resources that you need to pull it off. Okay. Are all of you with me, Align? There is some struggles, there is some stress, right? Work or home front, whatever you are choosing. There is some stress. How to use NLP to deal with this. So there is stress because something is expected of you, or you need to do something there, right? So what are the 3 resources that you need to make that happen? When I say resource, let me explain. Like if I have, let's say, a competition or a submission, some assignment, I need courage, let's say, or that maybe even humor. I need to be witty to take things in my stride and move on, because there's a lot of criticism that's coming in the, like last week, a client, she works for a corporate company. The boss was commenting on how she looks, her immediate boss, and instantly the moment she went into the room, she said, I wore a not a very very gaudy shade, but a little flashy shade of a pink top she had worn. So the moment she went in, he had asked her colleagues, what is the first thing you notice about, or something like that. So instantly her confidence had gone, gone down, because suddenly the focus was now lifted off from her work to how she looked and her lipstick or something. She said she'd worn a pink lipstick to match her outfit. Suddenly she felt a little too, disarmed from her otherwise confidence. Are you getting us? So it can be anything. So for her, it may be maybe composure, grounding. If she was grounded, she wouldn't have got toppled off by a passing comment, right? So you look at your area and what are the 3 resources you need for making what you want to happen. Have you all listed your 3 resources? It can be courage, patience, sometimes listening skills, understanding, compassion, love, thick skin, being tough, anything, any 3 resources. Okay. So now let's get into the process. Gently close your eyes. Okay. Sit down as comfortably as possible. Experience the process. I want you to experience the process. Noting down, we will do later. I will send some information also if need be. You can reach out. Right now, experience it. Okay. Now think of this situation, maybe a current scenario or a problematic situation that you may find yourself in, where it is a little stressful. If you don't know how to pull it off, how to make this happen. Okay. That's the situation that is giving you some amount of stress. Now, see how things are in that visual that you are having. Who are the people that you're noticing? What do you see yourself doing? And if you were to rate it on a scale of 1 to 10, how you feel stressful, how much you feel stressful, 1 being the least and 10 being maximum. Just give yourself a rating. Okay. Has a number come up on your mind? If something is mild, then 1, 2, 3. If anything mild to moderate, 3 to 6. Something more stronger, then 6, 7, 8. If something is intense, then 7, 8, 9. Then something is excessively stressful, then you know it is 9, 10. Okay. So just remember that number. Okay. Now, think of this issue, that what is happening right now. Take your right hand and use your index finger with your eyes still closed. Just make a mild pressure onto the inside of your other elbow crease. Okay, just make a mild pressure with your index finger. Mildly press and release it. Okay, continuing to keep your eyes closed. Now relax your hands. Think of a situation where you can pull off these things, this situation, current situation, what you're having trouble. Think of those resources that you need, you wish you had to pull off this task. You have already listed 3 resources. If the same resources, set of resources are coming up in your mind, visualize them. If something else is coming up newly, your subconscious mind always gives you the right kind of cues, right? So take that information. Even if something new is coming up, take that information. Okay. So now think of a time in the past when you yourself had abundance of this resource. Maybe another event that you organized where you had enormous amount of whatever resource you had mentioned, right? Courage or organizing skills or grit, perseverance. Think of that time. Similarly, if you needed to sail through criticism, in the past, there was somebody or group of people who were criticizing and judging you, where you could take it in your stride, keep that information to bring about the success that you want. Look at what are the resources you used at that time. Maybe resilience, maybe emotional immunity, whatever you had at that time to pull it off. So now visualize that event. Okay. And as you visualize that event, look at what you saw. See what you saw there when people were applauding. Let's say when you successfully pulled off an assignment, a project, gave a public speech, or put together an event. Look at how people congratulated you. Okay. Just visualize that whole scene. Hear what you hear, those appreciations, people patting you on your back and saying, well done, those thumbs ups, or some scrolls that you got, some awards that you got, some medals that you got in those competition. Even if it is health that you're working with, right? Back then, if you had a lot of strength, look at those moments that in that visual. And when it is the peak of that resources that you're connecting with, courage, valor, humor, compassion, confidence, take again your right hand. Now this time, the middle finger, and make another mild press next to that point A. Gently press around the same place, somewhere close to it, press, giving a mild pressure with your index finger. Okay. So now what you're going to do is gently open your eyes for a moment, briefly for a moment. Okay. Look at the color of the wall in front of you, whatever the color of the wall or curtain, anything. And then gently close your eyes. Close your eyes immediately. Now, press point 2 with your middle finger, wherever you pressed. Take the resources you had back then, when you were able to handle things, be on the top of your game, pull off things successfully. press that point 2, and now continuing to press that, give a mild pressure onto point A with your index finger. Okay. Now release your middle finger, still pressing point A, and now slowly release point 1 also with your index finger. Now take off both your hands, be free, relax, continuing to keep your eyes closed. Gift your current self all the resources that your previous self already had: courage, valor, resilience, whatever resources that you need. Take the memory from your previous encounters where you have successfully managed events, writing, reading out, researching, performing, cooking, whatever task you had, how you had successfully done it with those resources. Take your memories and skills from the past and gift the current self all of those resources, and give yourself auto suggestions and embedded commands that if you could do it back then, the younger you, naiver you, with lesser experiences, if you could pull it off, the current you, the more mature you, the one which has more experiences now, can easily pull off with those past skills and resources added on with the current awareness and the resources. It is easy, breezy, and a cakewalk for you to pull this off. So integrate the new self with all the skills of the past, reconnect with that, and also say a small prayer, seeking divine intervention and guidance for you to be able to accomplish all your tasks with greater ease and joy and move towards glory. Once you have integrated all of that, then bring your hands together, generate some warmth by rubbing them, and place them on your eyelids. Slowly open your eyes whenever you're ready. And keep revisiting that image where you see what you're seeing, hearing what you're hearing, and experiencing all that you experience in those moments of success. You can do it, right? So this is a powerful reprogramming that we have done to connect with our resources. So I trust Ms. Pallavi's got an answer to how you can reconnect with all the resources that you have, right? And always you can add to the other things in cognitive ways, like what are the things that I need to manage my time well, what are the new skills that I need to acquire, how do I modify and keep up with the trend and passage of time. So those things you will do logically, but we despite making these changes outwardly, there is something inside of us that will keep us from getting where we want to. So that state is what we have shifted now by the subconscious reprogramming using NLP, right? So with that, I think thank you for bringing that up. So we got another opportunity for a more elaborate demonstration as well. So I'll leave the floor open to some questions and any discussions that you all want to have. And once again, thanking the organizers and our coordinators here, Ms. Swarna, Ms. Lalita ji, and all our friends here for a wonderful reception all through the session today. So I'll sign off by stating just one thing. Most often when we find ourselves in difficult spots, whether it comes to our health journeys or our professional journeys or even personal development, we make changes in the behavioral domain, right? We want to change things in how we behave or what we do. And we may see some success. In some areas, we may not be seeing enough or adequate success. So there, what I want to offer is, remember, you have many modalities, not just NLP. There's so much like acupuncture, flower remedies, or essential oils, or anything, or therapy, psychological counseling, or even meditation, yoga, prayer. So NLP is one such technology which helps you make changes at the belief level, and then things happen at ease. So when we change only the behavior, okay, I need to show up on time, setting an alarm does not make you essentially get up early, but tweaking in the belief level that I can do it, I need to make it, why this is important. When you establish the why, you are aligned with how how to do it. And this technology helps you make that possible, right? So thank you once again for having me here. And please reach out should you have any further queries, questions, or if you want to understand more about the science.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Indu Bhuvnesh. This was wonderful. It was so
My pleasure.
calming. It was really good. And I just want to read Pallavi's message too. It is really wonderful, ma'am. You have addressed exactly my problem. Many, many thanks. This practice gives me immediate shift of mindset, and I will practice. I think it is
I'm
true
so
for
glad
many
to hear
people.
it, right? Thank you. Sorry,
Yeah.
I've cut in, Lalitaji, but it is so
Okay.
reassuring to hear from someone instantly. Thanks for sharing that with our audience here.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lalitaji. Please go ahead.
Does anybody have any questions to ask Mrs. Indu before she leaves us? Because I think it's any questions for Mrs. Indu or Mrs. Swarna Sitaraman?
I'll take one question alone from the chat box. If meanwhile, if anyone else has, please feel free.
Okay.
Hemaji's asked if I feel I feel immense gratitude. Is that a resource? Absolutely, gratitude. And there's nothing more potent than gratitude is what I would say. In fact, most of my line of work, Swarna ma'am might know, Umaji might know. If there are two Brahmastras that I swear by in all works that I do, it is gratitude and forgiveness in that order. There is nothing that you cannot shift if you're being grateful, because the universe is constantly watching. If you are grateful for what you already have, where even if it's a broken arm, limb, if I'm grateful for that, then the universe gives you more and beyond. But when we fail to be thankful of what we already have, things that we have also start diminishing or leaving. So the only way to turn things around is being having a grateful heart. Nothing that you cannot change. And because this is a session on NLP, let me take a half a minute to add one more point. There is a very powerful whole domain under the science of NLP called reframing. And reframing is all about changing an alternative perspective. Okay, someone says, okay, I don't have enough hair, and if he's having low self-esteem, you have your head intact, be grateful. That's what I would say. If someone says my complexion is uneven, I say, okay, it's not disfigured or charred like an acid victim would have. Be thankful that you have a face in place. So if someone says I don't have enough to eat, but you're surviving this moment even to complain that you don't eat, so you have not succumbed and passed on like many people. You are alive, so be grateful. So if you are able to even sit here and share some of your complaints, I would say you are gifted to breathe this very moment. Many people who went to bed with last night haven't opened their eyes to be here. So if your loved ones are around, if they're breathing, be grateful. It's a blessing. That's what I will say.
Very well said. Thank you, Mrs. Indu.
My pleasure.
Okay, so I think
Thank you so much, Indu ma'am, and Lalitaji,
Oh,
thank you so much. I'd also like to mention that Indu ma'am is available for anyone who wants to reach out for her personal consultation. And she's also starting another practitioner course. She's offering a practitioner course from the 3rd week of April. So if anyone's interested.
how long is this course for?
I'll tell you. So this basic NLP practitioner, thank you for sharing that, Swarnaji, firstly. And this is the basic, there are 2 levels basically, the NLP basic practitioner course, and it's a certification course that is affiliated with NFNLP, the NLP Federation in USA. Richard Bandler and John Grinder, like Swarna ma'am had shared, are the founders, and immediate follows. There are different branches. You will find ABNLP, SNLP, and NFNLP, which is very popular, and Dr. Horton's branch of school, this will be. So I run the certification programs in affiliation with them. So you have the basic practitioner course, the advanced practitioners, NLP practitioners course, and thereafter, if you choose to teach, then a master trainer program. So these are different levels. However, the foundational level is a basic practitioner course, anything between 36 hours to 40 hours training program. And of course, It'll come with practicals. So 36 hours of in-class training. Mostly how we do it is about 15 sessions, spread over 15 sessions and 3 months. So 16 sessions, I would rather say. So four sessions a month and 3 months. 4 months, sorry. So this is how it would go. So we meet once every week for about 1.5 hours.
There's one more thing that I just want to mention. Not just Mrs. Indu, Mrs. Swarnaji is also an NLP practitioner, and she lives in Arizona, Chandler, I think, Swarnaji. So we can also approach her for any questions that you have, or if you want to go through the NLP session with her, she's available to us to continue this with her as well. So
Yes.
thank you so much for all of you who have joined. I think this was just a wonderful session. I don't think the previous sessions have been so calming, and we were so attached to the speaker and the information that you had to give us. So thank you so much, Mrs. Induji, for joining us all the way from India, and
Kind
Swarnaji
of
for
you to
bringing
say
this
that.
wonderful program to all of us. And I think definitely there are so many ways that we can improve our mental health and non-invasive, as Varnaji said. I think this is one of those which is just absolutely great. Thank you all. Thanks a lot.
Been a pleasure being and connecting and being able to serve all of you today.
Namaste
Thank
to
you.
all of you.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Yes. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Ritaji. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Bye, Swarnam ma'am. See you.
Thank you, Indu ma'am. Yeah. Thank you, Swarna.